A little something
By
romantic to start the morning off, or start the
the
evening off here,
afternoon.
Jimmy. Huh?
The afternoon, you mean?
Yeah, just trying to serenade you on this
Oh,
evening.
thank you. I love being serenaded at fucking 6:15 in the evening.
Oh
You're such
man.
a you're such a charming fellow. I'm not shocked. Is that how you got your wife? You serenaded her at about 6 p.m.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, of
honey,
course. Of
I'm
course.
gonna play the tunes.
Oh man. Now I remember that chick that you dated years ago.
Oh
And
God.
I was cleaning out your room when you moved out, and there was a bottle of horny goat weed under the mattress.
Oh Christ. Yeah, she brought that over, and she was just like, "I think you might need this." I was just like,
But before you guys even did anything, she just brought you a bottle of it?
"Yeah." She brought me a bottle of it, and I was just like,
What did you what
"Why?"
did you what did you say to her? Did
I
did you thank her for the
I
gesture?
just said, "Thanks, I suppose."
Did you
She was
use
like,
any of them?
"No, I didn't use any of them."
Oh, I figured you did.
No, I looked at her and I was like, "You're insane."
But why did she think that you were going to need, some sort of
I
simulation?
I don't know. I just my guess is she never said it, but my guess is she probably had like a high tolerance or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, I get what you mean
You know
now.
what I mean? Yeah,
But that's just a weird thing to do as like a
it
first,
is.
as like a first timer to just bring a bottle of horny goat weed.
Yeah, like look, if I was new to the whole thing, fine, I get it. You want to give someone a leg up. I'm totally fine with that. But I could assure you, by that point, I knew my way around some stuff. I wasn't like fucking foreign to it.
What this girl didn't realize is if she would have brought you a Decepticon, you would have been way hornier than any pill will ever. But anyway, Jim, so much to get to today. Did you hear? Okay, do you know Gable Steveson?
I think. think
Okay,
so.
to give you a rundown in case if you don't know who this guy is, Gable Steveson, he used to wrestle for the WWE. He was an Olympic mat wrestler, like Roman Greco wrestler,
Yeah.
and he was trying to transition to the WWE. Here he is here.
Okay.
This guy. And
Whoa.
unfortunately, the transition just didn't work. He was kind of clunky in the ring. He really wasn't catching on. So he gets released from WWE. But after they fire him, about a month or so later, rumors start going around that he's being picked up by the Buffalo Bills. Now, keep in mind, he wasn't a college football player; he was a wrestler. So he gets picked up by the Bills, and we're like, oh, okay, hopefully, he'll have some luck there. Well, then the headlines come out.
Oh God.
Ah, this is fresh off the press
Let
from
me.
from the NFL this week.
Oh Christ.
Buffalo Bills release former Olympic medalist Gable Steves.
Well, wow. Imagine my shock that a gold medalist wrestler doesn't cut the mustard in professional fucking football.
He couldn't
Imagine
even
my.
figure out how to be a pro wrestler. He couldn't even figure out how to, go with the flow athletically there. And then he attempted to be in mixed martial arts, which is hilarious. It's a totally different discipline, and it
Yeah.
didn't work out there either. So it sounds like to me, whatever Gable majored in college, I hope it's lucrative.
Well, like, hey, look, I give credit where credit is due. Being a gold medalist is something to, that's That's of high prestige. But that's like if I played on a winning soccer team and we like conquered like FIFA, then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go join the New York Yankees, and I'm absolutely fucking shit because it turns out I've never fucking really played baseball good a day in my life, and I'm just
Well, here's
resting.
the thing. He it looks like that he's only 24 years old. I'm sure this is not the end of his run as an Olympian.
No,
I'm sure he'll get himself back up there. No matter what, the kid's been all over the world at
yeah,
such a young age, between Pan American Championships, Junior World Championships, all kinds of NCAA endeavors. So it's not as if that he's down and out. I'm pretty sure he'll find something to do with himself. What I kind of find interesting is, Jimmy, that everybody is a celebrity now, and something is to be said about the celebrity athlete. These Olympic athletes that are coming out of whatever sport, like being a mat wrestler, a collegiate wrestler, or being like a bobsledder or something like that. You can't do that all year round, at least not in a traditional sense.
yeah.
So I wonder if that's kind of the move now. We're going to start seeing more like Olympians from track and field trying to become baseball players and so on and so forth because they have a name, they already have a following, they probably already have sponsorships because they were Olympians. So
Mhm.
now McDonald's or whoever the fuck sponsored them then will then bring that funding over to whoever wants to draft them.
I feel like the move for him should have been is that I would have looked at I would have tried out numerous sports, and I would have seen which one that I could have adapted to on a basic level, and then kind of just go from there because it's like I go back to the soccer example. After I do soccer and I'm like I'm bored with soccer. I've killed it for like 15 years. I want to try something else. And then it turns out that I give something like lacrosse a try, and it turns out that on a basic level I understand it. So it makes more sense for me to go run with that rather than going like, yeah, I played some basketball on Wii Sports Resort. Should be simple, and then it turns out I'm absolutely dog shit, and I should go play
Right.
lacrosse instead because I have, you have a bit of an advantage. Like you gotta, it's
Right, but you're also playing it at you were playing it at a high school level. I think something is to be said about collegiate athletes, especially Olympic athletes, that live in this bubble of success and who otherwise feel that anything that they set out to do, they will be the best at it, which is not a bad mindset to have.
yeah.
But I wonder if the confidence sometimes is misplaced because, yes, he's a very talented wrestler.
Oh, absolutely.
He has been all over the world, as we just discussed, as a collegiate wrestler. But did that mean that he would be able to cling on to football? I guess not. Did that mean that he could become a professional wrestler? I reckon not. And what we're seeing more and more of are these college athletes that just aren't, outside of. So if they play football in college and then play football in the NFL, that's a totally different story. But I'm saying if they don't do the thing that they come out doing and then try to experiment with other things, it kind of seems like that it's very hard,
You should
if you
always
get what
have
I
a
mean.
you should always have a fallback option
Oh
just in
yeah.
case. Because, on the other instance, let's say that wrestling or football did work out. What if you got a major injury that, put him out of the sport for good? What's your plan then? If you don't have some sort of fallback or contingency, something that's going to, and I think you should, there's good ways of using your notoriety and your success and your reputation, and then there are just bad ways of doing it. It's kind of like with, Michael Jordan, for example. He went from playing, basketball to baseball, but And even though he wasn't the greatest baseball player, he did fine. But he had other things he could fall back on, if all of that didn't fail. For this, and this individual's young too. What I'm just saying is that I think if you're going to attempt to be a professional athlete, you should have some sort of fallback option, some sort of safety net in case it doesn't work out. Otherwise, it's going to be a bad time.
Oh, of course. And I always think about this when in college, you can look at a forum post or like an essay assignment that's being peer read. You could always tell who the education majors were and then who the athletes were, because the athletes would write about two sentences a paragraph, um, kind of cut and paste ideas into some level of cohesion. And that was about all you were going to get out of them because they were there to play ball. They probably had either a full ride or a pretty nice package coming out of Shadron State.
Yeah.
And whatever happened after college was, whatever happened. And I feel like that's probably a pattern. And I'm not saying that you can't go to college for sports and
Oh,
then come
absolutely.
out and have a fruitful career doing something. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is that it doesn't really prepare you for that thing. I kind of feel like you study what's convenient so you can play sports, and then you just come out the other side with this shit. At the elementary school that I went to, my siblings also went there. So my youngest sister, uh, who is in 10th grade now, which is crazy to think about, when she was in 5th grade, this like the behavioral interventionist guy got hired. The dude was 6'4". He was a college basketball player that got hurt, and now he just works in an elementary school, you know, as like this beta counselor for kids. No, I mean for real, that's more or less what it
Yeah,
is.
I know. I
This
get it.
the dude is 6'4", and this like elementary school kid had a pair of safety scissors in the cafeteria and was like kind of jabbing at the guy, not striking him. He wasn't
Yeah.
trying to stab him, but he was kind of swinging the scissors. And allegedly, the 6'4" guy was extending his hands out, trembling, begging for mercy from this fucking kid. You were going to be in the NBA. You're 6'4", and all you can do is sit here and cuck to a third grader.
Jesus.
You got to be fucking kidding me. So my point is, I hope Gable Steveson has a better future than that.
I
But
guess.
nevertheless,
I guess how I look at it too is that there's a difference between like I think the other thing is that for not all athletes, but for the core athletes, you're just doing the bare minimum to keep your scholarship. You're there to play ball. You're doing everything to keep that scholarship up, with some exceptions. But overall, and I don't blame them. If I got told that all I get a full ride, everything is paid for, I just have to, keep my grades up so I can play ball, and I just need to play ball well. Fuck yeah, I'm all on board with it. But for me, it's like if you don't find a niche in college, you need to find it soon enough. You don't want to get to a point to where when you find the niche, it might be too late or it's going to be harder to establish.
right.
Build that up as your professional career goes, whether it's like being a soccer player or a professional stratego player, whatever it may be. Just
Well, here's my whole problem too: is that these athletes, like I said, they're playing ball. Um, and if you're playing ball at some of these colleges, you're not exactly going to go pro. But their degree will be in like you know their
health.
degree is in it's something that is so simple. Like they have a degree in mathematics. All right, well, what do you do with that degree? Or better yet, not even the athletes. Okay, let's look at people who certainly aren't athletes.
Yeah.
What about all these students that are getting degrees in gender studies and Western oppression and all
or
of these wild things.
theater majors. I see theater majors struggle a lot because it seems the core fundamental is I'm gonna get my 4-year degree and then I'm gonna go to Los Angeles and make it big. I can do it, guys. And
Well,
then you
I don't
find
know if
out,
it's necessarily. There's a weird thing in theater where everybody are so into being actors and so into being professionals and what have you. And yeah, I mean, a lot of theater majors, and this is not a stab at them,
no,
but a lot of theater majors end up finding other things to do with their lives,
yeah.
other than theater. But what my question is though is like what is a gender studies degree going to do for you? I don't understand. Like, what are you gonna go do?
Oh, but if you then tell someone you should go to, when you tell someone they should take a degree that might benefit them in society, then they'll be like, well, that's just not fair. And it's just like, I'm sorry, mechanics, electricians, oil field workers, so on, people who work in the STEM fields, I'm sorry. I value them a lot more than some 22-year-old fucking either soy boy or radical feminist who's going to tell me why I'm oppressing them versus the man who comes in and fixes something that I don't have or is one of the reasons why the infrastructure that I know is built and
Do
maintained. It's
you
like
know what a folks counselor is? An FOLX counselor?
I do not.
It's a mental health professional who works with the online healthcare platform of Folks. That's the name of this platform. FOLX, and it's a play on words to mean folks. And it is an LGBTQ plus based community addressing concerns of anxiety, depression, and issues related to gender identity,
Yeah,
all through virtual appointments. And what they are now doing is they are exclusively hiring counselors that are of a non binary or otherwise queer persuasion. Many of them are, I guess, these gender studies counselors or these gender studies majors or these, otherwise, um, like, oppressed human behavior is now a degree at Harvard. Oppressed human behavior. So these people are becoming counselors. And look, I am not saying in any way that I don't think that this group of individuals should have a space to seek counseling. But do you find it weird that do you find it a little weird that we're kind of becoming like oddly I don't want to say segregated, but it's almost like we're banding together now. So we're not trying to understand each other anymore. We're just going to take our concerns and our anxieties and our uncertainties with the world, and we're going to go speak to our little bubble of people about it. And whatever's happening over here, they're the issue. So
it
let's just, what I mean. Like I don't know
it
how
feels
good this.
like it feels like tribalism in a sense. For people are
Yeah.
just people are relegating it back to their tribes. And look, to a degree, we all fall into tribalism by some degree. In high school, for example, when we fit into cliques, it's to a degree, tribalism. You find bits and pieces of yourself through whatever tribe or tribes you fit into. But the eventual goal is that you want to separate yourself from that. It feels like how it is nowadays is that once we get into a tribe or something like that, we get too comfortable within it and we don't want to move away from it. For me, it's like I don't. I fit into groups and cliques, but I'm still an individual. I value individual identity over group identity
Right, right.
because for me it's like you can punish an individual, you can hold an individual accountable. If I go and rob a bank, you can hold me accountable because I robbed a bank. Well, if I say that I'm part of the Transformers community and I go rob a bank, does the entirety of the community get, arrested because I decided, well, figures aren't cheap, so I'm just going to go hit up one of my local banks and just,
Right.
you know,
Right,
no,
and I get what you mean with that too. And look, and I'm not to make this very clear. I'm not singling out this particular
no,
healthcare program. I'm not saying that it's a bad program.
no.
The only reason why I brought it up is I've been seeing a lot of advertising for it, and I guess it's just a place where trans people go to get medications and so on and so forth. Well, because it's being filtered into the advertisement slots on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, it's getting a lot of vitriolic responses. And okay, if you disagree with some nuances of the movement that we will not get into tonight, you're allowed to have that opinion.
Of course.
If you think that groupthink is bad, especially when it pertains to healthcare or other, forms of public resource and education and what have you, that's a conversation in of itself. But simply a interest group that is providing something for a demographic that otherwise would have issues accessing something, to me, if it's private funding, then that's their prerogative. I
Exactly.
have no issue with it.
Hmm.
But what I do have issue with is people that just can't scroll past something instead of leaving this irrelevant comment on a page. And now instead of someone trying to get their advertising out there, they now have this marauding happening in the comments. It's not helping anybody. I
Yeah,
think that's my biggest problem.
I
I have
think.
no I have no problem with individuals, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I just want to finish with this.
Yeah,
I
go
have
ahead.
no problem with individuals, like you said. My issue becomes groups of people because a lot of people I feel like kind of falsely speak for other people when it comes to this online shit.
Yeah, I think the way I look at it is that as long as no one is like getting harmed or it's not, there's nothing vicious coming from it, that I don't like witch hunts. And you already got these groups of individuals that feel that they're oppressed and everything, and when you do something like that, you're just feeding more into they feel oppressed. If it's for me, if it's private funded, and hey, you're giving a job to people with a degree that's hard to find a job given how little the field is. If they want to expand the field and the play to where people with those degrees can secure a job a bit easier, fine. I It's it's whatever. I don't, I feel bad for people who go to college for so long just to find out they're at a Starbucks or something like that. I'm not bashing on people who work there, but I can imagine that's not what they want to do, but they understand that that's just what it is. I don't like witch hunts, and back to my whole tribalism thing. I don't, that applies to everyone. There are people on, the right side of the spectrum that fits certain tribes that I'm not really particularly a fan of. It's like, for example, I don't hate Trump supporters, but a few years ago, I remember watching a montage of there were politicians and other people who made disgusting comments about Trump, and then Seth Meyers was at the inauguration party or something like that, and he told a joke. It was a tame joke, and people were like, "Well, Seth Meyers is a hack and all this other stuff." And it was like, "No, no, no. His comment, his stuff was a joke. Obama saying Trump will never, never, never become president. A rump." Yeah, I think that's clownish, and the way that he said it was in a shitty tone. But no, Seth Meyers telling a joke, and the entirety of the tribe there thought it was an attack on their all ideals. Like, shut the fuck up, man. I like, come on. It's no
Oh yeah.
different. It's no different than the trans community trying to say that Dave Chappelle was transphobic because
Oh
he,
yeah. And see, Jim, this is
yeah,
my problem with
yeah.
that. Okay, during the Trump presidency, I remember I was at an old friend's house, and yeah. Next time, just put your entire tongue into the camera while you cough there. My
There.
goodness.
You happy?
Yeah.
See.
Yeah. I can see remnants of the pizza rolls on that tongue.
That's
Anyway,
up.
what I was wanting to get back to. I remember being in an old friend's house
Yeah.
back, probably 2017 or so. I was in Lincoln, and we were watching whatever show James Corden used to host, whatever that fucking guy show was called, and Cher was on,
Yes.
and they played this game where people had to eat bizarre food items or answer a question, and it came down to Cher either had to eat a cow nose or give Trump a compliment. And she decided to eat the cow's nose because there wasn't a good thing she could say about it. And everybody went, oh, ha, 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 ha.
Oh
But
yeah.
Seth Meyers makes a joke in opposition. And suddenly, so, I so don't care about that anymore. I think we're to a time now where
Oh
comedians are doing things that the general population probably doesn't agree with.
yeah.
But
And
we're
that.
not interested in appeasing everybody anymore.
Oh
And that's why these Hollywood comics, as you and I looked at a couple of weeks ago, that's why these fucking Hollywood comics like Nick Offerman and Ben Stiller and all these goofs, they're not stand up comedians. They are actors who have comedic roles. Nick Offerman does do stand up, by the way.
oh of
Not
course.
like at clubs and stuff. He goes to theaters and does like these overly um cinematic sort of performances. I'm not shitting on him for that.
No, I,
But
I
what
I
I
liked Ron Swanson as a character. I think he plays Ron Swanson well.
yes, well, but
Yeah.
in real life he is Stark from Ron Swanson.
Oh, absolutely. It's like polar opposites. It's kind of, you know.
But what you were saying though, my bad for eating. I was just
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Show us that fucking tongue, you fuck.
sorry about that, buddy. I shouldn't be eating. I was just trying to I had to go grocery shopping and stuff. I kind of got back in late. But anyway, what I was trying to say is that um, I feel that uh, what these Hollywood comics do, like Lily Singh, remember when she was on TV?
Oh Christ. Yeah.
What they do is they try to have a very simple formula that is liberalism good, republicanism bad.
Bad. Yeah.
So whatever the punchline is, blah blah blah, Kamala Harris is awesome, blah blah blah, Trump's a piece of shit, ha ha ha. And it becomes so tiresome and so robotic that I almost wonder, like, is there a reason for this?
Well.
Maybe, I mean, I know that George Bush was made fun of a lot on SNL. I know that
Oh,
Obama was made
of
fun of on
course.
SNL. I'm not saying anything on the contrary, but my point is every celebrity wants to have their hee hee ha ha about Trump, but as soon as a comedian points out the fact that Kamala Harris is like champagne drunk on stage every night, suddenly, they become the biggest bigot on running around on 2 feet.
Yeah, of course. Um, it's insane. Like I remembered this was around I think like 2017. I remember when people were like it was called the CNN challenge, and what it was that you would put on CNN and you would see if they were talking about Trump, which 9 out of 10 times, let's be honest, they were. You would go flip around to a few other channels, and you would come back after a short time frame to see if they were again. And it turns out that it was pretty overwhelmingly that they would do that. And it was always the narrative of Orange Man bad. And it's like, yeah, look, I don't think Trump's a great person, or I don't agree with all of his shit, but it's like, it's like when you do this, you don't want him to get elected and all that, but then you do this and you ramp up his fan base. Like, if anything, this ramps up the fan base greater. It's having the negative effect. And when you're calling, and you know, it's that and like the whole for the fact that like terms like Nazi, I've been called a Nazi before, which is utterly fucking insane. For the fact that terms like that ever like that they got weaponized for so like for little to nothing is insane. Yeah, it turns out that one political party says if you vote for X, don't vote for X individual, you're a racist and a bigot. They're gonna go vote for other people. Yeah, because it turns out that just saying that, uh, you know, like when Joe Biden says if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Yeah, it turns out I might go vote for someone else because that's really fucking bad to say. It's like if Trump came out and said that if you vote for me, you're a Jewish shell. It's probably not a smart thing to say. It would be really fucking bad. It would also make a lot of
Yeah.
you know,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
and that's the thing. I see this all the time. We've spoken about this a couple of weeks ago when
of
Kamala
course.
Harris is in
Yeah.
Atlanta and she's quoting Quavo and she's putting on this fake accent.
Oh yeah, the accent.
The the pantomiming that is going on right now, the just this overly scripted creepiness that I'm seeing from politics and from news cycles in general.
Yeah.
It really makes me wish this was not an election year because if it wasn't, I would not be paying attention to any of this.
Yeah.
But, Jim, I can tell you someone who is paying attention to everything in the world of politics. And that, my friends, I've been trying to cut over to this for some time now,
Oh,
is
my favorite
our world famous
Stuttering John.
Stuttering John Melendez. And here we go. Um, I'm not going to play all of John this week because he was long winded and quite frankly, he talks to hear himself talk constantly. But this week, John, oh yeah, here he is in all his glory.
uh the
Why
Duke.
is his skin color almost the same color as the fucking hay, like as the grass behind him? Like the yellow grass behind him is almost the same color as his skin.
He's already envisioning the LA life.
God. Why does he look like he's got jaundice? It's terrible.
Looks like he's
All
about to have
right.
a stroke.
So anyway, the El Duke is back, and we're not going to watch it all. But there's a couple of points that I wanted to just show you what he's up to, and then we will get over to Boogie and talk about him.
And Gonzo looking great.
Oh, come on. I wanted it about
Plus,
right. Here
father
he
of
is.
3 wonderful kids. I have lived a child.
Okay. So John today, he can't handle getting goofed on. He doesn't understand how it works. He doesn't understand the concept of being a comedian, really. He never learned. He got his balls busted on Howard Stern. He took it personally. He's got his balls busted by comics for the last 20 years. He takes it personally. Well, now, through Dabblers Anonymous and these other podcasts, his his Bumble page, his Bumble account has been exposed.
Oh no.
I don't know why I thought Tumblr. Could you imagine John on Tumblr? But anyway, his Bumble account has been exposed. And he decides he's going to fucking read it on the show today.
My
no.
pictures. There's a certain level of
What is happening with his eyes? You know what I think it is, Jim, at this point?
What is
He's
it?
carrying so much water weight because he's such an alcoholic that
Yeah.
he has like these weird sacs in his face, like over his eyebrows, in the cheeks. There's a lot of fluid in that body that has nowhere to go.
privacy, you would think, but not to these guys. These guys don't care. They don't care. Now, if you want to analyze we'd have to talk to the sorcerer about it. I'm not talking to my therapist about it. I haven't seen it in a while, but
Yeah, no shit.
Oh Christ, you don't say.
Could you imagine being John's therapist and he's going on about the Shitwaya and Lady K and all these people? No wonder you haven't seen this woman in a long time.
When
She's probably avoiding you.
When John finds out that his Bumble account has been hacked, call my therapist. They're about to make a lot of fucking
could
money.
you imagine? Look at that face, by the way, ladies. Look at that face.
Oh man.
Why does he look like he's like? Has he had another stroke? He looks really bad.
It's either that or he's on the onset of one. I'm waiting for it, man.
Man, one of these days he's gonna fall out midstream.
Just they bully like this to make themselves feel better. They think it's comedy. It's not comedy to impersonate a girl and then go into my Bumble and read it. That's comedy?
Yes, John. That
absolutely
is hilarious.
And you know why? Because they know you're gonna fucking talk about it, you stupid idiot. Them exposing your Bumble and them getting you to give a reaction is funnier than anything you've done in the last 5 years. Shut the fuck up, man.
You know what's comedy, John? Finding your Bumble account and the fact that you have outdated photos on there, the fact that no women have responded to you on that account, the fact that the only woman who did swipe right or whatever was the stock account that the show set up. Yes, that's very funny. You know what's not funny? The fact that he has Shuli's underage children's photographs on his computer.
Yeah.
That's not funny.
No. He also he's posted private information about people on Twitter too, and now he's salty when someone posts private information about him. Shut up. It's not even private. It's on an app that's accessible to the public. Shut up, you stupid idiot.
It's not like you use Signal like our buddy Aaron Imholtes did.
Idiot.
You know what? That would be a great crossover. I guess now that Aaron is in jail, that'd be a great crossover though to have John and Aaron, two Yentas going back and forth.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. What a fucking ugh.
The babbler and the diddler. There you go.
My personal.
It's not
shit?
personal. It's not personal.
Really?
No, it's not. Shut up.
And I don't understand.
I like how the green
so
screen
funny.
around him, it looks like he's got gills because the way that it cuts so bad.
Well, the amount that he drinks, he might as well be a fucking
Right.
fish out of water.
But
He's Aquaman's fucking reject cousin.
okay, that works. So now I don't know what my profile says.
Oh, of
So
course.
let's read it.
No, I know what it says.
And see.
I'll pay you on
There's my
Tuesday
handsome-
today.
oh, wait.
Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Now,
That's what it says
not
on
too
your
long ago.
profile.
Bullshit. Let's look at this photo that he said not too long ago.
Oh, no.
What? Let John Boy
Okay, that
find
works.
it again. Let's look at this photograph.
So now I don't know what my profile says,
Yeah, I bet you don't, John Boy.
but let's read it and see. So there's my handsome picture. Oh wait,
Now,
not too long.
Jim, what year was that photograph taken?
87.
Look at the man in this picture.
You wanna know what's worse?
What?
You know the Better Call Saul promos, like on the benches and whatnot? It looks like that picture.
Right. Look
He's
at this guy here. He's in a suit and tie. He looks like he could be, like a paralegal or someone important. And then just look at the man in that picture and then the ogre hand that's holding the phone.
While
And
wearing
you
a
tell me
Pink
that this is a
Floyd
relevant photograph.
with a Pink Floyd T-shirt that says the Duke behind there, while he's on set for probably the 5th stroke in a week. Hey, you want to know what's funny, John? You know what you should do? You should set a tips goal to see what the speed run to giving you our fucking stroke is.
Oh my fucking well, he's trust me, he's gonna find out. But what I
Oh,
think is so funny though is that like he's using this picture. It's so old.
Long ago.
It's probably from the Tonight Show.
So,
How long is it going to take him? How long does it take him to scroll from his photos to his bio?
oh, the amount of
It's not
drinking.
that complex.
Oh, the amount of drinking he's
See.
done. You know he's lost steam. He's like.
Well, I don't know because see, John's back to doing shows in the early mornings. So I don't know if he's been. I mean, I know he's actively drinking on this show. He's
No,
at least one can deep.
I'm just saying the damage
My
from long-term drinking is what I was saying.
Oh,
Probably
yeah, I know.
affected him. So that's why he's
There's
got
not
long
much-
pauses of just.
Yeah, there's not much space in between him being hungover from the night before to him drinking again. And you can tell that he's constantly out of breath. He's constantly lost. He's always looking for things around him. He's reaching behind him constantly. Like he's a mess. He's a complete fucking mess. But anyway, let's get back to this because I really want you to hear this bio. This is fucking incredible.
bio. I'm a divorced father of 3 wonderful kids. I have lived a charmed life filled with amazing obstacles overcome. I've written from
Oh, shut the fuck up! Stop! Stop!
Who puts that
No.
in a dating? Just keep listening.
many shows, including Tonight Show. And
Okay, so he's putting his resume in his dating profile.
That's how you know it's really bad.
My profile says, but let's read it and see. So there's my handsome picture.
Okay, we've already been through this. Just read the fucking profile, John.
Okay, that works. I don't know what my profile says.
Okay, where the fuck is it at?
Little flex.
Let's just read it.
Okay, that works. So now
We'll just let him find it because I can't find the fucking timestamp.
Know what my profile says, but let's read it and see. So there's my handsome picture.
Okay, we've already been through this. He shows the picture.
Now, not too long ago.
That's at least 15 years ago.
Or back
Come
in
on.
87.
He wastes so much fucking time. Just come on and read it. Jesus Christ.
So let's see. My bio. I'm a divorced father of 3 wonderful kids. I have lived a charmed life filled with amazing obstacles overcome. I've written for many shows, including Tonight Show, and have published a best-selling book. Okay. A little flex.
A little flex.
When we do the show next week, or maybe for Sunday, I'm going to find out exactly how many copies of Easy for You to Say sold, because I don't think it's a best-selling book. There's no way.
Before, can you? About me. 5.
So why would you put that in the dating profile? Oh, this guy is such a narcissist.
Well, you know, he's got so many charming qualities. He might as well start off with a resume first. Save the rest for later.
I wrote for the Kamar Abdul Jabbar roast.
I also have 4 meat curtains.
I'm 8, which I am. Well, 5'7.5", but you know, I'll round up to the half. Active.
I have as many cockroaches in my apartment as hemorrhoids in my ass.
And one of my
and
meat
undergraduate
one of my
degree.
meat pouches is flavored in
Sometimes.
whiskey.
Smoke, no. I'm a man. I'm a Libra. I'm a liberal, and I'm a Catholic.
Oh, go.
I'm looking for a long-term relationship.
Okay, John. Okay. This is how much of an idiot John is.
He's fucking.
I think he thinks that Catholics are a race like Jews. John has openly stated that he is an atheist. John has made fun of Joey C on his very program for believing in Christianity, and now the dope is going to say that he's a Catholic liberal, whatever that's supposed to mean. And then they walk in and you know what's so crazy to me, Jim? They see this guy in a shirt and tie in like the black and white picture, no T on the forehead, no bags under the eyes, the fucking, the fucking Coors can hasn't went around his neck yet. The cellulite wasn't growing on his fucking face. Nothing. This handsome, dapper man, Democrat, Catholic. This woman thinks, wow, I'm really going to meet a nice guy. And up walks John Melendez.
So if anyone is catfishing anyone, it's you, John. You. It's you. Because if I'm a lady and I look at this picture, I'm like, yeah, this guy sounds like he's well put together. Then I meet him and he's just like, he's a Reddit mod.
Right. Like, you think you're okay, this guy's 58. You're a divorcee. He's a divorcee. Well, you know what? I want a nice man that I can take to church with me on Sunday and introduce to my adult children, and not this fucking guy.
Not the guy who's almost like the real life version of Coach McGurk from Home Movies. Like,
right, and also like he says on there that I have a best-selling book and I've done this and I've done that. John, here's the problem, okay? This is why your children don't talk to you. This is why you're divorced. This is why you have no friends. Your career is a minuscule part of a relationship on any level. Yes, you want to establish that you have a good income, which you don't. But if you did, and you were, a showrunner or whatever you would be at this point, even if you made okay money doing this podcast, which you do not. And notice, okay, he's also a public school teacher or previously been a substitute teacher. That is not in his bio. But he has to mention his fucking book, his embarrassment of a book.
Yeah.
He can't just be John Melendez the man. He has to be Stuttering John the character all the time. And he wants every single person in his life to believe or subscribe to the belief of how impressive he is as a character. You're not. You never have been.
No.
But anyway,
the character was bearable, but now it's just.
Ship.
Look how red those eyes are, by the way. Good.
Oh, yeah.
There's my headshot.
Even there.
Oh, my God, bro.
Even there, that headshot. So could you, first of all, between the black and white photo to this photo, he's already aged 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And again, even that picture, even that guy looks better than the ogre that's holding the phone.
And this is the comedy. If I had 3 wishes, I'd wish for my kids to forever healthfully.
I wish that my kids lived to be the polar opposite of me.
John, they're probably going to because they see you and they're like, holy fuck. It's my sperm donor.
His kids don't see him at all. I think you're forgetting that part.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if they had the misfortune of seeing a picture of him or something like that, and they're like, oh, it's the sperm donor. Fucking lovely. He's still alive.
I feel like they have seen too many recent photos of their father. That's the problem. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
They showed. And there's me with my...
Oh, and also he tried to point out, they showed a picture of my kid. No, John, your kid's an adult. It's totally okay.
Yeah.
Now, again, I ask you, is that normal for them? Like, this is what they're going to do now? Either try and hack my computer. I mean, like, when is enough?
This is the funniest fucking thing. I keep pausing on this fucking goof
Why is this man such a boomer? Like he lives his life as if he doesn't know what the internet is. This fucking guy has been in show business forever. If you were
Here's
on
the
the Stern show, if you were on the Stern show and you had a goofy dating profile like that, you would have been goofed on
oh,
without
absolutely.
question.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand why John has to be so flabbergasted about everything.
And here's the other thing. If he didn't want people to see the profile and everything and all this stuff, why show it on your show? You're gonna read that profile off. You're gonna read your. You're gonna show us that picture that is the two pictures that aren't recent. Read us that goofy ass profile and think people are gonna crown on you. You're such an idiot, man.
Right. You've spoken to the police, John.
Yeah.
The thing there's like the police police of the internet overlords that get to fuck with you until the end of time. You have now given them more ammunition. You could have said, you know what, they read through my profile, yada yada yada, whatever, and not dragged attention to it. Now
Yeah.
that you have read it, everybody's going to go now and look at it for themselves, try to find you, continue to fuck with you.
And
He just never
And,
learns.
and the other thing he has to realize, and I'm pretty sure he realizes, and if he doesn't, I'm going to also note this too. By him doing that, he allows these individuals that troll with him and fuck with him on the internet to dictate what he talks about on his show.
Of course.
Oh,
Like-
shit, Waya. I get it. Your life is a zilch.
Oh yeah, this is other thing too. By the way,
Oh,
he's convinced
God.
that Shuley is a loser, and that keep in mind a guy who has a like a $400,000 house in Alabama. Okay, plenty of bedrooms, plenty of space. Has a career for himself. Somehow Shuley is a loser, but a guy who is literally living in his mother's house right now has had this Hall of Fame life.
You want to know what wasn't on his profile? That he lives with his mommy.
You're right.
Your career was never a career. You suck at stand-up and you suck at podcasting. The only reason why you ever started making money at podcasting is because of me.
Oh, shut the fuck up! Stop! Stop!
No, okay, first of all, surely John saying that someone that sucks at comedy is the pot calling the fucking kettle black. Look, am I saying that Shuley is George Carlin? No. But Shuley's a funny guy.
Yeah.
Shuley's an established comic. And as a matter of fact, John, both of you, this is what I really can't stand. And I'm not, I am a big fan of Shuley. I subscribe to the Shuley Network. John was a phone screener who piggybacked onto other comics. And once he was out of that bubble, it was done for him. Okay, Shuley was a caller who was doing some open mics, who got a job, and he was actually an on-air talent for 15 years. John was given that Out to Lunch radio show. He got fired twice. Shuley and Bob hosted Miserable Men for a long time. Once that fell through, they had the Whack Pack Roundtable that Shuley was a part of, the Killers of Comedy. He gets into the Ronnie Munn stuff here in a little bit. But my point is that Shuley is doing fine. Shuley is not. What?
I'd also like to add, if you did a poll right now and you asked people who you think, if you had to think of people who could say that Shuley either had an impact on them or actually boosted their career versus Stuttering fucking John, I am willing to bet you $1,000 more people would fucking tell you that Shuley has more impact on the fucking comedy sphere, and the only impact or what John has offered is he's one of the punching bags.
Oh, of course.
Like,
Look,
he's
I'm not gonna lie. As a big Stern fan, I was annoyed with Shuley. There was a point in time where I just found Shuley to be really annoying and really entitled. And just because I feel like that's almost the character that they carved out for him on the show. And since he's left, I have thoroughly enjoyed what Shuley's been up to. And the Uncle Rico show is hilarious.
Or
And
another
you know,
person, or another person on the Stern show that took a lot of shit and was kind of like the punching bag was Beetlejuice, and he's fantastic.
you know who was the biggest punching bag on the show? Baba Booey. And he's
Yep.
still there. And
Yep.
it's way more relevant than John. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on John because I do want to get to Boogie before we wrap it. So
Yeah.
let's get back to old fart face Melendez.
And you give Lady K the thief credit because he stole Jocktober from Opie and Anthony Houston.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Stop! Stop!
October, he stole. You know, Anthony Cumia goes on WATP. He clearly doesn't think Anthony Cumia goes on these shows, John. He doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't care. No one cares. No one cares if you use Jocktober. As long as it like, no one cares nowadays if you use Jocktober. No one's gonna be like, "Hey, Opie and Anthony pioneered that, you motherfucker." No one cares. No one gives a shit.
This is where the conversation has to be carried through, and where I think that John is such a narcissist. He has to, how do I put this? He has to grasp on to every branch of defense that he can because he knows he doesn't really have one. So if he can say in his mind, "Oh, I was the third mic on the show," even though that he never was,
Yeah.
then that's going to be his defense. So his defense is, "Oh, you didn't parlay it to anything. You were never on sitcoms. You were never, on anything." Shuley didn't have to parlay it in anything.
No.
Shuley was so busy, flying down to Kansas to film something with Richard Christie, or out in New Mexico with High Pitch. I mean, with Eric the Midget, or doing something with High Pitch, or he was so busy with bits and with things with everybody at Howard 100 News was busy constantly. John would know that if he was paying any attention. And a few weeks ago, he said he didn't even know. I don't know who Steve Langford is. I have no idea. Then how the fuck are you commenting on Shuley if you know who the fuck Steve Langford is? It's so crazy to me Sorry, what were you saying, Jim?
He's so far moved from reality. It's like, that is more comedic than when he's like within the bound. He's out of bounds, which is funnier than him when he's within the bounds of reality. It's
right.
It's wild.
When you're an 18-year-old kid, I think you feel, "Oh, I can be a musician, and I could be an actor, and I can do, all this bullshit." And eventually it's like, okay, if I'm going to pursue one thing, it's going to be a hobby. And if I can make money off of it, fantastic.
Yeah.
John was delusional like that in his late 20s. He couldn't sing. He wasn't a musician. He had this record deal that he shoehorned out of Howard. He wasn't an actor. He was trying to get on television shows and whatever. And I'm going to let John say something, and then I'm going to continue this point.
Stole it from Howard Stern. And he was doing that. And you said, Lady K, could I get your idea? Could I use your idea? And as Lady K said, just do it. But actually, Lady K said, well, this was his rationale for why he left.
Does John talk like someone that you end up sitting next to at the bar that you can't walk away from?
He spews so much nonsense, but you can't.
Just get to the fucking point. What are you talking about? Why are you what the fuck are you talking about right now? Holy shit.
The shit way or do it. He said, well, John was doing so many shows, I figured there was plenty to go around. But now that and then I think when I left the school, he said,
do you see the course?
Oh my god.
So I guess John must have a white tarp in the background now, because either that or that's a one or two things is happening here. Either John is out of money and he's buying Rolling Rock, or he just put like a fucking Dexter sheet behind him and the cores is sinking into the white background.
Oh my god, what a fucking idiot. Jesus Christ.
But now that John's gone,
Oh no, that's an Arizona tea can. Oh, that's hysterical. It's bleeding into
Oh. Oh, what a fucking idiot.
Oh shit, that's amazing. John, I know that we'll never see this because I'm a nobody, but it's a reason. Like, I don't use the green screen. This is my actual room back here. Because yes, I too have wooden paneling in my place. I pour my things into like a mug sometimes, or maybe a cup. I don't like to put any brand name of anything on the screen, but heaven forbid, man. I mean, get your shit together. How can you talk shit about somebody and then have amateur mistakes like this? I know I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just experimenting with shit.
Yeah.
it sucks because there isn't plenty to go around. But
also, who gulps a tea can like that? Holy, that was a throaty gulp.
Well, when he's an alcoholic, that's all that he knows how to drink is just fucking. He's gonna act like someone's gonna. He's gonna act like someone's gonna come in the room and fucking take that can from him. He's saving that can from Shuley.
I was gonna say, you know how dogs curve their tongue when they drink?
Yes.
I imagine that's him every gulp.
Oh
man!
Fuck.
Well, it's only so long until Vince, the lawyer's entire legal team, takes all of his beers away. No.
I'm just like, all you guys in the chat, in the pores, we're all like, I had pictures of Julie's kids. I don't. I'll give my computer to forensic.
I'll give my computer. Holy shit!
Computer guy. I don't. But much like everything else, guess who does have a picture of my kid, Shuli?
Your adult child. Your adult child, John. Your adult. John's oldest child is our age. Just in case you're not aware of this, Jim. He has a picture of your 29-year-old son. Okay? Get a grip. And I'm sure he doesn't, have it as the fucking screensaver on his phone or whatever.
Of course. I don't think there's anyone that paranoid out there. My goodness.
No. He probably doesn't even have the picture. But if the picture was ever shown in some way, they're an adult. They're not a child. John was threatening to show pictures of Shuli's 9-year-old and 12-year-old kids. His little girls on top of it.
Yeah. Like, I hate to say it, John, but I think it's more problematic when you're showing pictures of people's young children versus them exposing your goofy fucking Bumble profile.
You know what I think this really comes down to? A lot of alcoholics tend to be bitter, resentful people. And for whatever reason, Shuli, I haven't seen many pictures of his wife. I guess, I don't want to, I don't know. I'm sure she's lovely. John will call her, he calls her fat. He often makes references to her. I can't think off the top of my head right now what exactly he always calls her, but he's called her like a buffalo. All these really horrific comments. Carl's wife is older than him, so he refers to her as the mom wife. He's very chauvinistic, and it's because he has not had a girlfriend in many, many years. He is vengeful of anyone who has a relationship with their children because his children do not talk to him. And
Yeah.
anyone that has a semblance of a halfway decent life, he really despises because his life is nothing.
Yeah.
And that's all this fucking guy is. This fucking Mott's applesauce faced motherfucker.
Oh, Christ.
This is the same guy who went on the false narrative that I didn't have a degree from NYU. And then what happened? It turned out he didn't graduate high school.
Okay. And how does it, whatever, John?
How's that degree from
Everything
fucking
that he
NYU
says
serving you
is a
fat
projection.
fuck?
We should call it the projecting pedophilia network. At this
Oh,
point.
fucking shut the fuck
That's-
up. Stop.
Oh, and of course that's his
Stop.
comment. I didn't want to talk about this, but we know what's going on with ESO. And
Yeah.
and that's his little clever throw at that.
Yeah.
It's the biggest story. But Lady K would rather go over my Bumble. Lady K, like, instead of saying to Shuli, dude, if you knew he was arrested for
Okay, well, John is going to struggle to talk, and I just wanted to pause it there because that should be on his Bumble profile right there. That screenshot.
Yeah.
You know, we've been through this a million times. John's going to project, but that's just what John does. But something that's going to interest me a little bit more, because I'm already done with John. I got through 10 minutes of John. And I got through somehow an hour of this next gentleman. So all the way from his, dubious estate in Fayetteville, Arkansas, comes Boogie fucking 2988.
A.K.A. Stephen Williams.
Oh, yes.
Here on the house.
Okay, so before we get started here, as we know, Boogie it's became an entire mess. He created the fatty coin, which ripped a lot of people off in connection to him claiming that he had cancer and it was a way to generate money for his cancer. Well, it turns out that he lied about having cancer. And if there's one thing that we know about Boogie from the last 20 years of this guy's internet presence, he kind of doesn't tell the truth about very much of anything.
No.
And I wanted to skip over Keemstar's preamble, but more or less, there's a show, for those that don't know, there's a podcast called Locale Live. Keemstar, Boogie, and some other various folks host the program. And Boogie was being given his disciplinary actions based upon him lying about having cancer. So we're just going to dive into this, and Jim, you know more about this than I do, so I'm going to give you the floor here.
And I've been trying to think of different ways that I could show everybody how fucking sorry I am. Because this is not okay. Like I said last time, my dad died of lung cancer. My best friend, my childhood girlfriend, she died of breast cancer that turned into brain cancer.
Also, pause it for a second.
It's not do.
Okay. So he's saying that he jumped the gun with announcing that he had cancer.
Well, that
And what I've noticed,
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
what I was saying, what I've noticed about Boogie is that when he's trying to dig himself out of a lie, all of a sudden it's, oh, my friend did this, and my mom had this, and my dad's cousin did this. And you notice how he kind of starts throwing names into the hat when he's telling a lie.
Yeah.
So to me, right out of the gate, it feels like he is trying to do anything that he can to get the blame off of himself.
Well, the thing with his childhood friend who died at like 39 is that he put up a tweet about it saying that my friend who fought a long bout with breast cancer basically paid millions of dollars to this doctor who ended up buying like basically just profited off of it. And he said if he ever met that doctor, he would spit in their face. The irony of that statement is that this man fucking profited and is still profiting off of lying about cancer. He profited through it through the Bitcoin, and he's profiting through it through this fucking podcast. And has the audacity to say, if anything, Boogie, someone should spit in your face because, like what? Like that's the other thing. He'll talk about his dad's cancer. He'll talk about his best friend's cancer. There was a dude on one of the, I don't know if I sent you the clip, but there was a dude on one of those live streams named Mr. Medicare who years ago people said that was faking cancer, and he proved that he actually had it. This guy was telling Boogie ways that he could show that he had the cancer, but Boogie was just dodging it. And he'll also talk about how he banged two of the same hookers that Logan Paul did. But when we need confirmation that he has cancer, oh God, no, we can't do that. That's invasive. That's all I have left, man. I don't have anything
when he
else.
said my medical records are something that I want to keep to myself. Well,
Yeah.
now he spills the beans, and this is the thing with Boogie. The other thing that I wanted to mention. You remember when Ralphie May passed away?
Yes.
And Boogie put out that tweet saying that he once ate at a restaurant and the waiter said, it was nice to meet you, Ralphie May. Like somehow or another, everything and anything is always going to be all about Steve.
Yeah, he makes it about himself.
But anyway, I want to hear what Keemstar says, because Keemstar, and I'm not really a big fan of this guy, but he's growing on me. Because listen to how he sinks his teeth into Boogie instantaneously.
Well, let's slow down. Why does your set look completely different? What's that about?
Well, I mailed you a little something, and the room just didn't look right. And to be honest with you, all this Boogie 298 shit, I just couldn't look at it, so I took everything down. Once we took the first thing
He's
down,
somber
the rest of
Steve
it
now.
went, and we put it in storage because I just want to see it, man.
Chat, can you hear him? Your mic's a little low for me. I don't know. Chat, is he good?
So he's just okay. Can you believe this shit? He was so traumatized that he just had to take down all of his scenery and sit in an empty room and reflect on himself.
Also, I understand Keemstar might grow on you in this particular clip, but I sent you there's one that I sent you. There's this podcast called EFAP, and they had so they had Keemstar on there, and honestly, I think at this point, so there's a guy on EFAP named the Little Platoon who is very fucking smart. He does criticisms on TV shows and movies. He's from the UK. He's very smart, very well put together. Effectively, without even getting angry, shreds Keemstar's arguments apart, and at one point says that this guy was a sadist, that he was looking to cancel Boogie when in reality, people, they would bring up to Keem that, hey, you still have this guy on for faking cancer, and he was just like, well, Boogie's just a retard. Well, he's retarded.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And it's like stop. And the other thing that killed me is Keemstar's like, what you need to understand he's like, what you need to understand is, or look at it from my shoes. In case this somehow gets to Lolcal Live, which I doubt, I'm going to preface this now. Keemstar, I understand, and I know my buddy here also understands. Boogie is very entertaining for this shitty podcast. He's very entertaining. He's very lucrative right now, so he's going to bring in you a ton of money. You know, our people are going to click on this stuff and things are crazy. And I'm not saying this is a bad situation, but I've certainly got some entertainment value out of that. I'm not going to pretend that I haven't laughed or enjoyed anything that's come out of this. But to think that means that this, and I mean an actual punishment, the liar tattoo might as well not have happened given where you had put it. Putting it right here and barely having it inked rather than having it on his forehead, because look at that forehead, man. You ain't avoiding that shit.
I know, and I want to get to what he says here, because this is so melodramatic. And much how Stuttering John is very performative, Boogie is equally as performative.
Oh, absolutely.
And especially when he's trying to peddle himself out of a lie that no one is believing. The other big thing.
Good.
Sorry, I'm not talking like my normal entertainment self, so I'm probably
okay.
a little quieter than usual. Apologize. Try to talk.
I think what's most important is because you've told this story so many fucking times. I
Yeah.
think what's most important is I shut up, right? I sit
Yeah.
here dead silent and act like this is the YouTube video 2 years ago. And this time, the facts, the truth. I think the audience deserves to know, kind of like what was really happening 2 years ago. What should that YouTube video look like?
I'll make it as short and sweet as I can. I have several doctors. We took my blood test. We found elevated red blood cell counts, and then we looked for other markers. We found those markers. They determined that it was certainly polycythemia, potentially polycythemia vera, and they were going to treat me as if it was polycythemia vera. And that's what we've done for the last 2 years with the plan to always eventually get this bone marrow test. But again, I never wanted to get it done because it's stupid. It's painful. My friend Marie, I was talking to her about it last night. She said she had it done. She literally asked me not to ever get it done.
Pause it, quick.
She's fighting.
So the thing that kills me about this too is that when I was 18, on the night of my high school graduation, I was rushed to the hospital. What had happened is that I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, but before I was diagnosed with that, there was a pretty good chance that I had colon cancer. So here I am, 18 years old, laying on this fucking hospital bed, running the risk of potentially having colon cancer. You want to know what I didn't do? I didn't grab my phone and fucking tweeted that I had colon cancer. So you're going to tell me with a straight face that me at the age of 18, as stupid and dipshittery as I did things there, had enough sense to think I should probably wait until I have a confirmation and the ability to prove that I might have colon cancer, was able to just wait. But you, who was like, this was back in, you were like 48 at this point. It was 2022. You're at 48 and you don't think to have the sense of, look, if you want to put on Twitter, hey, there's a good possibility I might have cancer, I could accept that. Even if I think you're a pathological liar, because I could accept that because it might means that there is a chance that you might not have it either. But instead, you just came out and said, yeah, I have cancer. No, I'm not going to show any evidence for it, but I'm just going to say that I have it. And the only reason why it's being brought to light now is because the other dumb thing is that he called CoffeeZilla. You're going to call a guy whose entire thing on YouTube is to expose people for running or being a part of crypto scams? You're so fucking stupid. Like, what? Like, it just, like, why? Like, it just, like, that's what kills me about it, man. It's just like, I was so young, and yet I had I had enough sense not to do it. You are 30 years older than me, and you just thought, fuck it, I'm going to go make that.
A big thing that people are pointing out about Boogie, and Keemstar says this a bunch, and I'm not saying that I'm going to, co-sign on much that Keemstar fucking says, but
yeah,
Boogie is so desperate to be a victim. He is so desperate to need sympathy generated for him that he's looking for things like he knows that if he has a sob story, that there's a lot of revenue that comes with that. So that's his model, to be woe is me. Oh, I'm fat and I struggle with my weight. That was a whole thing for a while. And then the divorce, that was a whole thing. It's always something to be, this is how pitiful my life is, and now I need you to give me money. That's kind of been the cycle of Boogie, has it not?
It has been for the last, Oh, let's see. I think some of this surfaced back in like 2016, so it's been about 8 years since a lot of this really like steamrolled.
We'll look at a little bit more of this before we call it.
In cancer herself. And
Well, if you want to look at a
she's-
little more of it, you should skip to the part where Destiny gets on. I think that's at about the 30-minute marker because that's
Yeah.
where.
Well, and I'll wrap this part up, but he's trying to sit here and say that, oh, this bone marrow procedure is so daunting and so awful that my friend asked me, hand over the Bible, please never get this procedure done. He's such a melodramatic
Oh,
ass.
and the other part that's also important to notice is that he thinks by giving up his YouTube like play button and all this other stuff that his there we go, yeah, his sins are basically redeemed, and that's not the case. Now,
No.
I'm mixed on Destiny, but I really fucking loved him here. He absolutely he had him dead to rights in this situation. So dead to rights. It just I agree with Destiny. I like if you just say in that phone call with CoffeeZilla, when you say it's cancer, it always comes back. It's just like, what? Why would you say something like that? You don't think that's gonna draw some attention? Especially for people who have went through numerous bouts with that. It's like, no, it doesn't always kill. Sure, Boogie is a defeatist piece of shit who would love to really have cancer, so it could fucking snuff him out. But it's such a terrible thing to say, man.
Yeah,
fuck.
like Keemstar is even looking at him saying, "You are wishing cancer on yourself. Like, how more miserable could you be?" But anyhow, I want to hear this.
Well, get the hat because we need to see you with that hat for sure.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then also, what else did we talk about? Mountain Dew. You're never allowed. He's never allowed to drink Mountain Dew again because that is so fucking unhealthy. And one of the main risks of this disease is that he could have a stroke or heart attack. And he kept saying that and using that for manipulation. But here you are not doing anything about your weight. You're drinking Mountain Dew. So that was another
Well,
Oh,
thing.
yeah, and also
again, I only
earlier
drink-
in the episode, he calls him out on this, and then Boogie pulls out 2 big thermoses that he swears up and down are filled with water,
Full of water. Yeah.
which is
It's
horseshit.
bullshit. It's
No,
bullshit.
yeah, because he would have had 2 water bottles. He would have had 2 big thermoses,
Yeah.
2 big Yetis.
Yeah.
diet, and it's doctor approved. It's 0 calories, but it does have things. That,
He just said, "Oh, I'm drinking diet."
Doctor is Diet Mountain Dew, and it's doctor approved. That made me. That is the most gamer thing to say.
Well, it's 0 sugar Mountain Dew.
Yeah, like that is the most gamer thing to say. No, mom, it's Diet Mountain
lead-
Dew. It has carcinogens in it, mom.
like carcinogens and stuff in it, so that's why
He just said it.
we've cut it out.
Yep.
And he did donate $1,000.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
St.
Just to be
Jude.
clear, just to be clear, that was a lie. Whatever just said. No doctor's telling you don't drink Mountain Dew diet because it has carcinogens in it.
right. There's
It is, right? It's so bad.
Right. This is so crazy. Now, maybe a doctor in Arkansas is saying this, but
No.
Are you talking about like
I didn't-
aspartame
I
or
didn't-
whatever? Or
I didn't say that. My doctor has approved diet soda. He says it's fine. But because I've read research that says aspartame and all this other stuff, I'm going to complicate it further. I don't even need to be taking caffeine in, which is the whole reason I drank diet soda was to have caffeine through the day. Why the fuck do I need caffeine? What the fuck am I doing in the day?
it truly was the comment at
do you
the
think that Boogie and John could have a fun show together?
Do I want to watch 2 fat, overweight individuals just run a pity contest for about fucking 3 hours? I'll watch them on lolcow through other
Tell me
various
2
sources.
truths and a lie. That'd be a fun show.
end of that CoffeeZilla video was like, it's cancer. It always kills you. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why would a person with cancer say that? There's so many people that are fighting against cancer, that are fighting against cancer, like every day in the United States and the world. That's such an unhinged, crazy thing to say. And that's what triggered me enough to start digging. Like, oh, okay, because he doesn't have cancer, which makes sense.
So the crypto scam was your downfall.
Not even, actually. It was just the comment at the end about the cancer. That's the thing that triggered the fuck out of me and made me start digging. That was the
Well-
only thing that triggered me.
Well, I will be honest. My dad died of cancer. My best friend died of cancer. My aunt died of
Oh
cancer.
God!
Yep,
You
it's the
say this every
same-
time,
It's the
Boogie.
same song and dance routine, man. It's the same one every
And
time.
Total Biscuit, who I was close with and
Oh,
saw
I
many
forgot about
times and
Total
played games with
Biscuit,
him,
too.
he died
Jesus
of cancer.
Christ.
And so, in
Right,
my
yeah.
experiences, cancer
Eric
eventually
Gold
comes
too,
back,
right?
Yep.
and cancer eventually gets you. And you should still fight it.
Wait, what do you mean by
everything.
comes back? What are we talking about?
Pause that
Most
too.
people that go into remission eventually have reoccurrence.
What he also
Well,
contradicts himself in the short span of like a minute. You're telling people that it kills you in the end, but then you tell them they should fight anyway. If you're telling me it's going to kill me no matter what is the point of fighting if it's going to kill me anyway? It just doesn't
We're going
make
to treat
sense.
you as if you have it. And that's what we've done for the last 2 years. That's why we did the sleep study. That's why we've done everything we could to bring the red blood cell count down, because he's afraid that I have polycythemia vera.
When you kept saying increased like hormone or something over and over again. What were you talking about?
I think it's somebody mentioned it last time. I think it's the JAK2. There's JAK2 markers in my blood, which I guess is important for determining this. I don't know if it's high. I don't know if it's low. I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Okay. I don't know. Okay, just as quick, because I'm here, so I don't know what you want me to say or what I'm necessarily here for. So everything you just said was a lie. Okay. The doctor is not doing a biopsy to confirm. Okay, that's not true. Okay, you can make a positive diagnosis of polycythemia vera if you have the JAK2 genetic markers, not a hormone. It's a genetic marker. But when you said that you had an elevation of a hormone, I don't think you were lying about that. I think you were being truthful. But what you didn't realize is the hormone that you were referring to is called erythropoietin, I think, or erythropoietin. But that hormone that's elevated is elevated because that's the hormone that's being produced that's telling your bone marrow to create more red blood cells because it's secondary polycythemia. You don't have JAK2. That wouldn't be a hormone. It wouldn't be a marker. It would be a gene test that you would do. You would know because you would pay specifically for genetic testing, and he would specifically test that gene. If you have that JAK2 marker plus an elevation in red blood cells, and you don't have an increased presence of that hormone in your blood, that would be enough to diagnose. You would never do a biopsy. You don't need to biopsy that.
Okay.
So wait.
I'm just telling you my understanding of it. I don't agree with anything Destiny just said, but I don't think that's important at this point. So.
Oh, good grief! So the problem here is that Destiny just laid it out very clearly here. I don't think that Boogie is going to be able to get out of this. But before we wrap it up, I want to take it to about an hour deep because the conversation goes in a place that I think is really important here and kind of wraps this entire confrontation up in a bow.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at this real quick, and then we'll go about our way.
That you saw advertised on television, you can say, "Hey, doc, do I qualify for fucking this penis pill or whatever it is?" And then he can say, "Yes, maybe you do." And then they run it by the insurance if you qualify for it, if you have the conditions, right? So if I have a heart disease and I see a heart medication advertised on the television, and I say, "Hey, doc, do I qualify for that heart medication? I think it might be good for me." And then you and your doctor make a decision together, and then we see what the insurance company has to say.
So you're just workshopping biopsies with your doctor, and
Those
you're
are
like, yeah,
treatments.
let's.
See, this is what I mean. This guy is trying to make the argument that if I see a commercial for Cymbalta and I say to my doctor, "Hey, I'm feeling a certain way. Can I try this?" That doesn't mean that you then workshop, like he said, biopsies and cancer treatments and these sorts of things.
Yeah.
There's no way.
You don't workshop them. You're going to get a specific treatment for a specific condition. I understand there might be some parallels, but I don't go into a doctor and say, "Hey, doc, I have a cough." And he was like, "Okay, let's go look at various lung surgery procedures we have for you based off of a cough." Shut up, man. Stop it.
No,
treatments,
he
not
mentioned
tests.
it 2 years ago. He said that there is a bone marrow test that we can do to confirm, but it is invasive and expensive. It is extremely painful, and it's unnecessary because we're going to treat you anyway.
Yeah, but if you're gonna, but they're gonna treat you. But why would you bring up any of this procedure? And my question is, if he is being treated, he does not have cancer.
he has some health issues, but he just goes in this circle and he keeps going and he keeps going. And what I find really interesting is that Boogie is I don't even know if he is necessarily a lolcow or not, because yes, he is mentally ill.
Definitely a lolcow. He fits into a lolcow, for those who might not know, is someone like Boogie who quite literally sits on, because if you go to his live streams, he will sit on his live streams and he'll beg his audience members for money. He will make it a like that's the shtick. Well, if you look at people like Boogie, Wings of Redemption, Dark Side Phil, Low Tier God, all they do is they sit on stream,
Stuttering John.
Stuttering John, and they beg you for money and they make their bills your problem. And if you bring up that shit or shitty things about them, they'll say, "Fuck you, get that ass banned." They'll drop the ban hammer, and then they'll feel like the biggest badass. Like, yeah, I just banned someone who called me out for my shit. Ugh.
Well, as the conversation ends here, I want to play this because things blow out of proportion. And after this clip, we will wrap it up.
Put inspirational music to it. That was actually
No, I'm just.
I like
I'm
that.
just.
That was a good
I'm just
speech.
saying. I'm just saying. There are probably people out there watching this right now who are struggling with suicidal impulses, and if you're one of them,
Oh, and yes, he brings this back to him wanting to, oh, the pressure is getting to me. I've been a cutter for years.
You wanna know what music you can play in the background? You know those commercials with
the world's
just
smallest violin.
No, something even better. For just 5 cents a day, you could save the children in Africa. You just play that somber music over a suicide speech.
Holy shit.
fucking stick it out. That's all I'm trying to say.
You're not. Shut up. Oh my God. It's like, give me
Okay,
a fuck
let's
answer.
go.
Give me a fuck answer, guys. Give me a fuck
Dark fucking
suicide.
yeah, Jesus.
My God. You were never suicidal. You love yourself way too much to ever kill yourself.
go
Okay.
fuck
You're way too narcissistic. You would never be
fuck
suicidal. You'd let the world burn to ashes around you before you even considered hurting yourself any more than that was too mean. But no, yeah, like Jesus.
Hey, I don't self-harm. I don't self-harm.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, I don't know how long it's been. I don't know how long it's been since you've seen some a nice set of tits there, Jim. But I figured I would give you a little sampling tonight.
Oh, thank goodness. I really wish that I was cross-eyed both eyes now. Thank you.
Whoa.
Okay, well, that was what my joke was going to be. I was saying any more than stuffing your mouth full with a cheeseburger. Like, that's what I was going to say. But yeah, if you want to say, yeah.
It's self-harm, motherfucker. That's why people like to do this. It is a form of self-harm, motherfucker. That's why we do it. If you see a 400-pound man, if you see a 400-pound woman, guess what? They do it because they're self-harming, because there's something wrong in their fucking brains. I'm not talking about if you're a little bit fat like Muda carrying around an extra 20 pounds or whatever. Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people that eat themselves to fucking death. We do it because something's wrong, dipshit. It's the
I think what's happening, I think you do it because the food tastes really good and exercise sucks.
And that's one of the
Oh, well, I figured that would be the and with that, he just put him in the 3 count.
Yeah.
Really what I want to wrap up the evening with, whether it be Boogie or whether it be Stuttering John, these guys are never wrong. They're never wrong. They can never admit to losing. But boy, oh boy, what a last couple of weeks it's been.
And whenever they are wrong about something, there's always some sad, somber, lore-filled backstory about, yeah, it's my fault, guys, but you should really look at the circumstances.
And that's the other thing too. There at the end there, when he decided he was going to show off his body fat and be like, "Oh, I'm self-harming," and plus size people are all, he has to find a way to connect himself to being the victim, to being the good guy.
Yeah.
Shit. But anyway, That was a hearty laugh tonight. Is there anything else you want to go through, Jim, before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's good. I'm satisfied with today's episode.
All right, man. Well, you have a good night and take care.
You too, man.